Yeah, we are in live. You can.
All right, thank you. Great. I'm just waiting for it to appear here, and then we'll start. Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the live session of the NPTEL course on social networks. I am the co-instructor of the course, Yayati, and we have another instructor, Dr. Sudarshan, but I'll be the one who will be taking this live session today. So we have Anuj and Indranil with us. And I think we have two questions in the form that we have shared. We just take a look. So I hope, Indranil, I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So we have one question by Raghav also. I think Raghav is not yet here. So I will start with your questions. That's a bunch of really interesting questions, a bit challenging also for me to answer. So I will answer them one by one. And I'm sure that many of our other students would also be having the same question. So I'm sure it will help all of them. So question one is, in the certification assessment, will it be MCQ or subjective? And also, will there be any programming questions? So in your assessment, in your final assessment, you will only see multiple choice questions. Programming questions, as per you want to be asked to write a program in the exam, but you might see a code snippet here and there, and you might be asked to predict its output. But as such, you won't have to know coding or programming. You don't have to do any live coding or programming. And then second question is, any opportunity for learners to collaborate or contribute voluntarily or part-time to any live project that IITs or NITs are running? So we actually very much promote that. Even the NPTEL office does that every semester after whenever we run our course after your final exams. So the people who perform the best, I think the toppers of the course, beyond a certain threshold, so they are given this opportunity to do an internship with us, and the time of internship is totally based on, so the mode of the internship, whether it will be offline or online, also the time of the internship, whether it is 3 weeks, 6 weeks or 12 weeks, that can be collectively decided by the professor and the student. But well, yes, this opportunity is very much available and very much recommended also. So it is enforced, it is being implemented by NPTEL every semester after the course runs. Third, I really appreciate the way the course material was explained and never felt going through some dry theory. Thank you for that positive feedback. Can we expect more courses from you with some practical real life examples on more diverse topics like graph machine learning, link prediction, fraud detection, temporal analysis, etc.? So to be honest, we have been planning from a long time to do that, but because of some logistic reasons. So the thing is, when we developed this course, I was Dr. Sudarshan's PhD student, and both of us were at the same place. I was doing my PhD that time, so we together developed the content for this course, and now I have completed my PhD. We are distant, but occasionally we do talk that we should create a course like that, and we also plan, but for some reasons and that is not happening. But yes, I can provide you some insights about this if you would like. And what you can try is, if just give me a second, I'll share my screen and show you a few things. So you won't even have to wait for a new NPTEL course to do this. You might already be aware of this channel, but I'm just showing you this one here. So you can just go to Google and search for machine learning with graphs, and you will find this playlist by Stanford University, which is by Joel Leskovec, one of the leading researchers in this area. And he starts from pretty much scratch. So if you have gone through your NPTEL course, you can easily pick up this course. So you can, if you're really excited to learn more about machine learning with graphs, including what is node 2vec and what are GNNs, you can actually start exploring this playlist. And I'm sure that there are a whole lot of research papers also out there on this, but this course will provide you a very good foundation for that. We are also in the process of doing that, but unfortunately I cannot promise at this time.
Yeah. I mean, thanks. Actually, I saw that CS224W, that one earlier, but means sometimes I feel maybe my math background is not that strong, so sometimes I felt it is difficult to
I
pick,
understand it might be a bit difficult to follow, because the moment we start talking about machine learning, most of the things boil down to our knowledge of linear algebra and matrices and determinants. So, well, I think that knowledge is presumed in these videos. Right, so there are actually two prerequisites to watching these videos, to be honest. So first is a basic course in graphs or social networks, which you have gone through, but what is also assumed here as a prerequisite is the knowledge of machine learning. So that is there. So they tell how you can apply these deep networks and neural networks to graph data sets, but you already need to know in advance what are neural networks and deep neural networks. I totally agree to that. But I think if we take one step at a time, we can do this. Even there are many things there which I don't know, and I have been picking it up slowly. So I'm working on like some projects related to machine learning in graphs, not exactly using GNNs, but well, yes, I've been trying to apply various machine learning algorithms to graph data sets, and I have published a few papers there.
Okay. Nice.
Second, if I could see all the participants. Okay, Anuj has also joined us. So let me take, no, Anuj, I'm sorry. It was Raghav's question. I don't think Raghav is around. Okay, we have a few nice responses in the live chat from one of our listeners, watcher Fritz, who is suggesting, he is suggesting that you can start by learning linear algebra by Gilbert Strang from MIT OpenCourseWare, which can be a good starting point. I'll answer Raghav's question. Raghav is not around, so I think probably if he watches this YouTube video, he'll get his answer. So it is slightly more technical question based on a topic in the course. So he says that according to Google PageRank, web page. So there was, I think, this question in an assignment. According to Google PageRank, a web page is important if, so the first option is a lot of other pages refer to this page, and option 2 is important pages point to this page, and Raghav says that it feels like both the options are correct. I totally agree. So you see, if you listen to this statement for the very first time, right, if a particular web page is being referred by a lot of web page, probably its importance will rise. So you can look at these questions in two ways. So one of the way is, as you would have seen in the course, are social networks, or even you look, if you look at a web network, they are they're very much structured and they have a lot of structural properties. So if you talk about real world networks, there it makes sense. I totally agree. And also in real world networks, you will find a whole lot of correlation between degree and Google PageRank, that is there. But when we pose this question in an assignment, we are talking completely from a technical perspective and a theoretical perspective. So if I were to give you a graph and you were to apply Google PageRank, here I'm not absolutely talking about a real world network. So I can show you a graph in which there is a node which has a whole lot of in links, but they will not contribute to its PageRank. You see, because if you think about it conceptually, based on the analogy discussed in our videos, you can look at it as you see, a coin distribution game. I like a cake distribution game better. Let's say there is a classroom where everyone gets a small piece of a big chunk of cake, and now they are redistributing it. So the point is, let's say even you have 100 people who are pointing to you, right? Initially, they might give their cake to you, but then if there is no one else who is pointing to them, they will soon run out of cake, and even your cake will be distributed. Right, so I want you to think about this question more recursively. It is not just a one level step thing. So the idea is your importance depends on your friend's importance, but their importance depends on their friend's importance. So even if you have a lot of friends, but all these friends that you have, they have not even a single friend, right? Then your importance also dies away. So somehow you see that factor of quantity, it will die away. Right, so just think about it, and I would like to discuss more about it in the discussion forum if it is still not clear. Any other questions? We have Anuj. Yes.
So I think all the means problem solving sessions, those links are not available apart from few older ones. So if you
can you just post
upload
that
them
on the discussion forum, and we will help you out with that. Problem solving
sure.
Links means which one? And just
the sessions, sometimes some sessions you will take, right? So I was not able to join those because it was in evening time.
Okay, you can just post it on the discussion forum, and me and Meenakshi will get back to you.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So we have Anuj, Chinta, and Meenakshi, I know. So would you like to tell me a bit about yourself, Indranil and Chinta? I mean, Anuj, what are you doing? Where are you guys placed? By place, I mean location-wise. Where are you placed?
Hi, so this is Internship here, and so I'm working as a actually software engineer and currently working in Kolkata, but my office is in Bangalore. Okay. So sometimes I will go to Bangalore, and means earlier I was in like kind of normal programming, but last 1.5 year I am currently working on projects where we are using like graph database and mainly knowledge graph and knowledge graph semantic web to means kind of mix different knowledge, means bringing different knowledge in one common place and infer some means kind of key opinion leader, identifying key opinion leader in healthcare space. So yeah, means I'm still in programming, not much in analytics side, but want to go slowly towards there.
That is so nice to hear. And Chinta and Anuj, would you like to tell us about yourselves? It would be like really nice for me to know about you.
Myself, Anush Kumar Kushwaha. Currently, I am final year student of BTech in Information Technology, and I am from Gorakhpur.
Anuj, I think we lost you. Can't hear you.
Ma'am, I am doing BTech from Madan Mohan Malviya Technical University, Gorakhpur, and I am final year student.
Okay, all right, Anuj. Okay. So I think there are no other queries. Let me see in the chat window if there is a question. Okay. There is no question. What we can probably do is maybe I can, so most of the times you say final year students and also many of students, so they would be thinking like what kind of projects they can do in this area. So last semester, so I am currently an assistant professor at Mahindra University, Hyderabad. So every spring semester, I offer this course on social computing. So I thought if there are no more questions, maybe I can discuss a few projects with you, which might intrigue you and you might want to pick them if they interest you. And that's nice saying this name is difficult for me to pronounce, but let me try. Janmayje, am I correct? Okay, that's great. So hi Janmayje. Okay, nice to know that. Nice to know about that. Okay, so let me see if I can share my screen is already visible. So these are some interesting projects in social networks or social computing that I just came across over, you can say, last few years. So last year when I was taking this course on social computing, I found this very beautiful and interesting research. I don't remember from which country the author was, but then the idea is that this paper was written entirely during the COVID-19 time when all of us were stuck in our homes. And what is interesting is it seems that you can convert any of your hobbies into a research project. So I'm sure many of you might know what these names are. So there's this
Friends.
Friends, right? So there is this very popular, right, Netflix series called Friends. So what is interesting is, so this was a research paper from a professor from a foreign university, and what they have done is they have watched. So what I was telling to my students was also that you can actually convert watching a Netflix serial into a very interesting social network project. So they have created a social network out of all the characters which were there in this particular series, and they have done a very extensive analysis on this. It was not just doing it like a very toy model or something for fun. So there are a lot of seasons of Friends. They have done it over all the seasons of Friends, and they have seen how the structure of this network changes, which it was a weighted graph based on the connections between the characters there. They saw how important a character is, how the centrality of a character changes. So they have done it for Friends, they have done it for Big Bang Theory, and then based on that, so they were trying to look at was there. So if you look at the evolution of this graph, right, or from Friends or from Big Bang Theory, so all these Netflix series which are a success, they were trying to see what is the success recipe. So what is the kind of network between these structures? What is the kind of structure in these networks of these series? Can it tell something about what makes what makes a series success? And they can actually, they couldn't figure out any kind of they didn't see that the structure of the network for Big Bang Theory or Friends was similar. It was not. So there's a kind of things that they tried to do. It was really interesting. I had a cursory look on the paper, otherwise I would have given more details. And well, this was one. This was yet another paper which was published in Archive in 2021 by some of my lab mates in IIT Roper lab who worked on signed social networks, which is also a module in our social networks course, where we talk about positive and negative relationships and signed networks and how do these networks evolve with time, how do their sign change. So you can just search for this title on Google, and this what they predicted was, if you look at the relations between the countries based on their economics or finances, can you see which countries are friends, right, and which countries do not have any cordial relationships, and based on that, can you predict which countries will be with which other country during World War III? So how these clusters would look like. So a very interesting project. This is yet another interesting. This is slightly not in exact direction as social network. This is slightly in a different direction, but one of our lab mates at IIT Ropar, she was working on this project. It was extremely interesting. You might have heard about the word crowdsourcing, right? So Wikipedia is a perfect example of that. So long back we had Encyclopedia Britannica, so written by experts, and then one fine day came Wikipedia, where anyone can go read an article. Let's say you are reading an article about India and you didn't find something quite right, you can just go and edit it. And all the people, anyone in any nook and corner of the world could actually edit that. And that is how entire Wikipedia was written. It is like such a massive collection of knowledge, and it did much, much better than Britannica Encyclopedia, which was written by experts. So such is the power of crowd. So she was working on that and developing models for that. How can you make existing crowdsource systems more effective? So on and so forth. And so her name is Anamika Chhabra, and actually you can search for her. Currently, she is a content creator for IIT Madras BSc diploma course, and this is her research area. So you can always feel free to look at our lab, or you see Professor Sudarshan's lab, and you can always try to connect with any of us based on which research direction you find interesting. There's yet there was another colleague of us, Varsha Bhatt. She was working on privacy in social networks. For a brief time, she did her postdoc at IISc Bangalore. So she was working on this very interesting facet of social networks, which is privacy. So even if you look at all these network data sets which are explored in the course, so Stanford network dataset collection is one of the most popular ones which people find online. And then you would have noticed that most of these networks are anonymous, right? Whenever any company or any university, they are providing you with a data set, obviously they have to keep it private. So most of these are anonymous. But then you can sort of say that a third party might have information about a network, right? That is the entire idea of privacy and security, and a lot of legal and ethical issues around it. So there was this very beautiful thinking-based question. If you want, you can try to answer that. And the question is, you see, as all of us are here in this meeting, so what can be one parameter that all of us share? Let's say our age, right? So I have some age, Akshay has some age, Anuj has an age, so on and so forth. And we collectively want to figure out what is the average of our age, right? In which age group do we fall on an average? But then none of us want to tell our age to each other. No one wants to expose their age. Let's say it's a very private information here. So in that case, is there really a way that we can figure out what is the average age? Do you think it is possible?
Maybe we can ask indirect questions like how many years before he did we take or something like that.
Yeah, right. So that can be one approach. Well, yes, but let's say, can there be a rigorous solution, like very, very mathematical, which will give you the exact average age? And I can actually say that it's like 100% foolproof solution. Right, one idea can be, you can say, so let's say Meenakshi here is very kind and all of us agree that we will tell our age to Meenakshi and we know that she is very trustworthy. She's not going to reveal our information. That's like the uses of third party, right? But is there any other way if we don't want a third party? Right, so you might look into it. There's a very, very beautiful way of doing it with random number generators, permutations and combinations, fully backed up by math. So these are called privacy preserving protocols. Very beautiful. So I'll just give you an idea how to do that in case you are wondering, because it looks like almost impossible. So the idea is I take my age and I add a random number to it and I pass it to Meenakshi. So Meenakshi doesn't know what is my age and what is the random number because I chose that random number in my mind. And then to the number that I gave her, she adds her age and a random number and she passes it to Janmaijay and so on and so forth. All of us do that. Let's say till Indranil, and then and if Akshay is hearing us, even Akshay, and then we have all this data which comes back to me, and now I will remove my random number and give the remaining. Right? Just think about it. I'm giving you the intuition. You can think about it, and this solution will work like magic. In like extremely interesting concept, showing it can be done. So that is for a very, very simple solution. What Varsha was doing it, she was doing it in the context of social networks. You see, what if, so what normally people want for, let's say, if people are working in a company, more than the friendship network of people, what might be useful is the enemyship network between them. Or let's say, a slightly sensitive topic, but let's say the network of sexual connections between people. Right, might tell you something about a network. That's also a kind of network, but then no one will give you that information. So let's say there are these employees in a network who together they agree that we want to look at the enemyship network, who is an enemy with whom, and how does this entire network look. But no one really wants to tell any other person who is my enemy. So now, is there a way, just like how we found the average age, is there a way that all of them can come together and do that, where they get the final anonymized network, but no one really knows who is enemy with whom? Like a very interesting piece of work that she was doing. So these are some directions in which our lab was working, and now it's like all of us have graduated and are working at different places. So you can always search for the SCCI labs IIT Roper, and you'll find a lot of interesting projects going on there. I'll just type it in the chat window. Right, and any day, feel free to connect with us. So I think that is all from my side. If you have any questions, we can continue. Otherwise, I think we can always keep discussing and talking on the discussion forum. So Meenakshi is also working with Professor Sudarshan, and she's also soon going to get her PhD. Okay, so if there are no questions, we can close this session. You can always write to us for any queries in the discussion forum, right? And I hope that all your queries are answered quickly and promptly. Okay, thank you friends for joining us. It was nice meeting you. Right, and
yeah, thanks.
So we will close the session, and please feel free to connect with us. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So Meenakshi, I think we can end the session now.
Yes, ma'am, we can end. I don't see any questions on YouTube channel also.
All right. Thank you, Meenakshi, for being around. We will close this session. Thank you, Akshay, for supporting us. It's nice meeting you, Janmay. All right, then. I will now end this meeting.